In this video, I'm going to be talking about RV power converters, and I'm going to share with you the different types, brands, and styles of converters in your RV. Differentiate between an inverter and a power converter. Show you what the difference is and how you can replace some parts in it. Very basic stuff. I'm not going deep into the weeds on any technical issues. Very basic things. This is more about so you can identify what you have and give you an idea of how to head in searching for a problem. But like I said, it's not going to be real technical. So this is Eric Sark with the Smart RVer podcast, and today is another Fast Tip Friday. So welcome back to the videos, and let's get right into this. So what we have here, wait. Like and subscribe if you like our channel and what we do. We also have the podcast, the Smart RVer. Now let's get into this. This is a 6345. So this is a power converter that a lot of people have in their RVs. This guy has been around for decades. In fact, this one was taken out of an RV. It was probably 30, 40 years old, somewhere in there. This is a Magnatech 6345, not even made today. So this door is all steel. So maybe you have an older RV with one of these in it. You might have a newer RV with one of these in it. They're still made today under the Parallax label, which Parallax bought Magnatech. Great product. This guy is like the Sherman Tank of power converters. Let me set this aside. It's all steel, very heavy, quality built in. So you have your fuses right here. And I just have one fuse in there, just keeping it basic. And we have the circuit breakers right here. I got one breaker in there just to show you where they go. And then down here in the bottom, let me move some things out of the way. I know I got a lot of stuff here on the table, but down here, it's what they call the lower section. This is the converter. This is what makes your RV happen. This is what charges the batteries, provides the 12 volts for the 12 volt system. So a converter will always provide 12 volts, at least most of them do. You know, if you have an older RV, there's some variables, but it'll always power up the lights. So it not only charges the batteries, it will power the lights, which is a cool thing. So if your battery goes dead, this will actually kind of keep you going if you're plugged into shore power. Remember, it has to be plugged into shore power. So these lower sections are replaceable. Even this guy here, as old as it is, if the converter portion failed, you could actually upgrade that to a newer version of it, which is actually better, and it's lithium compatible. There's a module that can get put in on that. So that's the all steel. This was Magnatech, now it's Parallax. Great product. They're not putting new RVs. They used to be like the mainstay in RVs until everything went to plastic. And these guys were kicked out the door, unfortunately. Great product, still available today. Had to get that out of the way. All right, so that brings us to the modern replacement. This is the WFCO. This is there we go. So this is the complete front of it. It's got the door. It opens up. So you can access your fuses, circuit breakers. They go right here. Although I don't have all the little pop-outs out, your fuses would be here. And this has a little glass on the door or plastic that you can see through. So if a fuse blows, you can see the red light. These modern ones have fuses. Oops, wrong side. The fuses, if a fuse blows, the red light will show up here on the circuit board, which is pretty cool. In fact, the new Parallax ones do that as well. So that makes it nice. If a fuse pops, you can see it. So this guy here, very similar to the Magnatech or the modern Parallax. Same design, they're interchangeable, and this has the lower section as well. It's called the main board assembly. In fact, this is one right here. So this would go in down below here if it were to fail. It replaces it. Held in 2 screws, 3 wires, or actually 6 wires. Very simple to replace. So it's a lot easier to replace that than to replace the whole thing, and it's less money as well. So this is just the modern version of the Parallax or the Magnatech. This happens to be a WFCO one, just all plastic. They work pretty good. And then you have the PowerMax version of it, which PowerMax isn't putting any new RVs, but they are available in the aftermarket. Been selling these for quite some time. They do very well. And like I said, we're not getting into the quality of them all. All the converters I'm mentioning today are all what you can consider mainstream. And that means they're available in the RV industry. They're not really they're the better quality ones that the RV manufacturers are going to use and reference and refer to. So these are power centers with converter built into it. We have some, well, let me go to the smaller one. Just, if you have a smaller RV, you might have one of these. Very basic. It has 4 or 5 fuses in it for a 12-volt circuits, 2 circuit breakers. So this is a very small one. This is a lot of trailers, smaller trailers. The door comes off just like the other one does. And you can see here, those are normally held in with screws, a little bit different. So this has a converter built into it, very small. So it's just for a smaller RV. Same principle as this, does all the same things. And by the way, these power centers, whether it's these or this one, this has a single fuse here. Actually, it'd go right here. I don't have it in, but there's a white box around it. On this, it'd have a white box around 2 of them. Those are reverse polarity fuses. So if you hook your battery up backwards, it'll blow those fuses rather than destroy the circuit or the converter. Same thing, just 1 fuse. So keep that in mind. And then this here is another style, a little bit different. So this happens to be a 50 amp service. So you'd have a set of breakers here for one side of your 50 amp service, a set of breakers here for the other side of the 50 amp service. And they're not connected, so it brings in 2 services there, your 50 amp I should say. And then you have your fuses here, which again, if a fuse blows, the red light will come on. And now this doesn't have reverse polarity fuses because this doesn't have a converter built into this. This is just power distribution. So all it does is take the 110 volts, the 12 volts, and sends it out to the RV. Now this would work with this guy. So this would be the converter, and it would literally be put in behind it and plugged into it. This has a plug on it, so it'd plug in right there. So this would be the converter for the RV if you had one of these. I mean, it might be this one, it might be a larger amperage one, a 60, 70, 80 amp one, depending on the RV and what it has in it. This happens to be a 55 amp one. So these work together. Now I'm going to set this aside. So these are all, these ones I just showed you, these are all on the face of cabinets. They're very obvious. You see the front of it. It could be in a bathroom, could be in a kitchen, could be in a bedroom, a hallway. They're not always in the same place. Every RV is a little bit different, but they're very visual. You can see it. And so this isn't an inverter, it's a converter. And then these are deck mount converters. So that's what this is. And here's your 2 reverse polarity fuses, the same principle as what's in here. These are easy to check, all of them are. So if you are concerned or suspicious that this isn't charging your batteries, maybe your lights aren't working or they're flickering, very dim, you would disconnect the 12 volts from here or at the battery. Make sure there's not 12 volts coming into it. With it plugged in to the wall and you're plugged into shore power, you should get like 13.6 volts here. If you have less than that, more than that, you have a problem. Generally, it'll be less, like 0 or 2 volts, 3 volts, something like that. That shows that this is not working properly. It should be 13.6. If these fuses blow, it won't work at all. So always check the fuses first to make sure they're not a problem. So that's the simple diagnosis on these, very simple. If you go to WFCO's website, Progressive Dynamics, Parallax, all of them have instructions how to diagnose their converters, which are all very simple, very identical. So this happens to be a WFCO deck mount one. Now these are generally in cabinets. They're not ever visible. Now you might have let's say a dinette, you lift up the seat, you might have your converter in there. It's visible in that sense, but it's not visible when you're standing in the RV. And it could be in a lot of different places, so there's no guarantee where it's going to be. And this happens to be a Progressive Dynamics one. These are in a lot of new RVs. WFCO is, Progressive Dynamics. Iota is another brand. I don't have one here, but Iota is a good brand as well. Comes in new RVs. This is a PowerMax one. Maybe you've seen these. These don't come in new RVs, but they're available in the aftermarket. So there's your, I would say your mainstream brands, okay? And then you have, this is the main board assembly for a Progressive Dynamics. I forgot to show this. So this would slide into the bottom of their power center, power distribution center. And this is the converter as well. This happens to be for a 50 amp service. So that's Progressive Dynamics. Okay, now a converter versus an inverter. That's an inverter, and this is an inverter. So this is a Go Power inverter. So what's the difference? Well, an inverter, this happens to be a Renogy one. So an inverter runs off your batteries. It takes the 12 volts from the battery and converts it to 110 volts. So that way you can run your microwave, things like that, 110 volt appliances in your RV from the batteries. Now, normally you'd have a solar system as well to keep those batteries charged. How many batteries, the size of inverters, is going to depend on your RV, what you want to do, what you can do. So we're not going to get into that, okay? So the same thing, Go Power inverter. Now, a converter, whether it's a deck mount style or the power center style, they're going to take the 110 volts and convert it to 12 volts. To power up all the 12 volt things in your RV and charge the battery. Some inverters do come a built-in charger. It's an inverter charger. So in that case, you wouldn't need to use the converter. In fact, some RVs that have inverters maybe don't have this main board assembly in it, or it's been disconnected because they're not using that to charge the batteries. They're using the inverter charger system that they installed. So if you have an inverter charger, you don't need the regular converter in your RV. So they usually get disconnected. And inverter chargers are probably the way to go in some ways. The chargers in them are built really nice. They work very well. Now, the other thing too is converters, all your newer converters today pretty much come out from the factory set up for lithium batteries other than Parallax. They have a module that you have to install. It's an extra cost, but you can do it. Iota, Progressive Dynamics, WFCO, PowerMax, they're all set up to detect whether you have lithium, AGM, or flooded batteries, which is nice. Cuts out some of the work for you. So again, I want to go into the technical stuff, but my mind runs that way, but I'm not going to. We're just talking about identifying them, what you have. So that's really it. It's pretty basic, and if you have any questions about this, you can use the comment section of YouTube if you like, if you want to leave a comment. But if you have a question, go to thesmartrver.com and use the contact us page and contact me directly. I don't always catch the YouTube comments, unfortunately. So you'll get a quicker response and probably a better response because I have more time generally. I want to thank you for stopping by today. I hope I answered your questions. Pretty basic stuff here, basic video, but I just wanted to keep you informed on what's happening in converters in 2026. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.